This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is the Fast Break Podcast. I am Sean Anderson. Alongside me is Ricky Widmer.
Hey, guys.
And alongside him is Dave Oster.
How's it going?
And we got 1 week off. We got 1 week off of no Chad Ford mock draft. And now he finally put one out before the week of the NBA draft. He just put out his 9.0, and we're going to be going in depth into his mock draft. We're going 1 to 30 and beyond. We're going to be covering all of his mock draft in the first half of this podcast. But first, if you are listening to this podcast and you haven't checked out our 2K subs, thank you video, we do want to say thank you so much for subscribing. If you are subscribed to our channel, if not, go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Most Valuable Podcast. We want to thank you for getting us to 2,000 so quickly. I think it only took 2 months, and it was fantastic. And we're doing something kind of special for 2K. We're doing a roast of me. We're doing a roast of Sean Anderson. So if you do want to roast on your favorite Fast Break host, you can go over there.
Some bold claims there.
I'm the only Fast Break host.
Yeah. Right now you are. Ricky was the OG.
That's true.
And speaking of me, let him know who's at 5,000. That's really important.
Ricky's at 5,000, the easiest target. So we're gonna have Ricky.
The target I think everybody wants.
Look, we all know you want to talk shit to us.
Yeah, and the easiest target. So if you do want to go check that out, go to our YouTube channel.
Well, it's because I'm so big, man. It's kind of hard to miss a big target.
Exactly. And if you do want to check out our roast video, go over to our YouTube channel. Check out the 2K subscriber video, and you can comment in the comments, or you can send us tweets at Most Valuable Pod, or you can send tweets to me at Schwarbo. But anyways, let's get into this Chad Ford mock draft reaction, because that's what you guys are here and ready for. And we're going to start off with the Los Angeles Lakers. And Chad Ford has put out a question, and there's been a lot of talk, though, just should the Lakers pass on Brandon Ingram? I want to throw this out to you guys. There's talks of maybe they want to go Chris Dunn or Jaylen Brown over Brandon Ingram. Would that be a mistake?
I absolutely believe it would be a mistake. I think there's zero chance that Brandon Ingram is gonna bump. Like I don't see the washout. I don't see any chance of failure, and that's a bold thing to say because I know there's always a bust in the draft. There's always a top 5 bust. There's usually more than one bust in the top 10. Mm-hmm. So it's a bold claim, but I think Brandon Ingram is as sure of a shot as you're going to get for someone with potential as high as him. Ben Simmons has a higher bust rate because you're expecting him to be a much broader, like where he excels at is very broad. He hits multiple points, whether it's scoring, passing, rebounding, his court vision. There's a lot going on there. Brandon Ingram is a pure scorer. So when you think about that, if you got it, you've got it. And I think that Brandon Ingram can come in the NBA and make that difference day one.
Because that was one thing that was kind of the downfall of Michael Beasley, because he could do everything. So there was no flaw to his game, or so we thought. And the thing was, he just kind of didn't hit on any of those points. So that was the thing. So you could obviously see the downfall of Ben Simmons. But go ahead, Rick.
Well, the one thing I look at is, first off, on his mock draft, Chad Ford says that the Lakers are flirting between Chris and Jaylen Brown. Those are the two main choices other than Brandon Ingram. And I look, just based off of their player profile, I kind of dismiss Chris right away because I think to myself, you already have a guy in Julius Randle, unless you're going to play Chris at the 5 and Randle at the 4, or you're going to draft Chris just to be a bench guy behind Randle. So to me, not being the Laker fan, I look and go, okay, I want to look between Brown and Ingram. And you guys know my opinion on Jaylen Brown. I think he could be the bust of this draft. I'm not high on him. I think he should have went back to college to work on his game. And yes, to some of the commenters, I do know that college isn't just you go and play basketball. You got to go to class and actually do other things. But the thing I look at and why I think Brandon Ingram is the better fit for the Lakers is with Brandon Ingram, what's one thing that they list as a positive? He's an excellent passer. Who's coming in as their head coach? Luke Walton. What's the one thing the Warriors, why they're so good? Excellent passing.
I thought it was shooting, but that's just
shooting and
Brandon Ingram can shoot. Yeah.
In their wins in the finals, their passes were pinpoint, and that is one thing that Luke Walton, the system that he may be bringing in from Golden State, the system that's kind of sweeping the NBA, that is what you would want on your team.
I do want to throw one thing about Chris, though, and we'll talk about this probably later, as Chad Ford said that people are saying that he might be able to play the 3, too. So maybe his position will actually be at small forward, so then you'll have room for Julius Randle. But, talking about Brandon Ingram, I mean, I think I agree with you, Dave, in saying that this guy is the most NBA ready prospect, the guy that's going to contribute right away. And the guy in Brandon Ingram is so hard to pass up. And the only reason you're passing up on him is because Ben Simmons is basically a freak of nature. I mean, this kid is, possibly the next LeBron James, where Brandon Ingram, you're going to get a guy who can put up 20 every season. I mean, Brandon Ingram is going to be a great scorer, whether he's, coming off the bench or, if he doesn't hit that ceiling, he's coming off the bench and being a great scorer there. He's going to be able to make his shots. He's going to be able to create his shots. I mean, he can do that in college with ease. He's going to be able to do that in the NBA. And the thing with, Ben Simmons, obviously, his style of play too, if his body can't hold up, I mean, he's relies on his agility and his speed.
Absolutely.
If that can't hold up, then, that's going to fall down. But if you're looking at Brandon Ingram, you don't really need speed to make your shots. I mean, he can rely on his shooting.
He's got length
to get him by,
which is a huge advantage that, his length, his height pays such dividends. And then when we go back to Ben Simmons, you get the comparisons somewhere between LeBron and Giannis, and you're like, okay, well, we've seen what both can do, and I mean, I think we're all favoring Ben Simmons needs to bulk up a little bit, and he needs to improve his physicality, because that's the route that has lent LeBron the most success. Mm-hmm. In his early years, he would always hesitate. He would always take that outside shot. And we're seeing, that comparison straight away with Ben Simmons with his outside shot isn't polished yet. It's not reliable enough. So what he needs to do is get the weight on, and then he can go down to the paint. He can drive. And, at that point, you get unstoppable LeBron, which is just disgusting. And I think that's the best way for Ben Simmons to, go forward as a pro. And I have that question. I don't know if he's going to. I don't know Ben Simmons enough, because he is a young guy. He's coming out of LSU, where he didn't show off a lot. He was kind of a more, I don't want to say a quieter guy, but he was. He didn't have as much flashiness to him. So the big question is, which way is he going to go when he goes pro? And then how's it going to work with his system? And I'm sorry, him on the 76ers, Brandon Ingram on the Lakers, I'll take Ingram on the Lakers all day.
Well, I mean, Ben Simmons, the team he really wants to go to is the Lakers.
Well, yeah, he made that very clear.
He really wants to go to.
By not showing up to any workouts.
The one thing I think of, just to get a little bit back into Brandon Ingram and why, if I'm the Lakers, I go ahead and pick him, just to kind of harp a little bit more on the system that could be coming, because we don't know exactly what Luke Walton's going to do.
There's nothing set in stone yet.
Is he going to do a carbon copy, bringing that offense and that style from Oakland over to the Staples Center? And the way I think about it is, if he does, Ingram would be the guy, because Ingram is 6'10", 196 based off of the ESPN draft profile that I'm looking at. And we've compared him to Kevin Durant, and that's great. That's a great comparison. It's kind of like what we said about Ben Simmons, and you've said in your mock draft, Sean, if you compared him to LeBron, you can't pass up on that potential. But the way I look at Brandon Ingram is, he could be to the Lakers what Klay Thompson is to this Warrior team, except he's taller.
So you call him D'Angelo?
D'Angelo could be. It's not an exact kind of comparison.
But I'm sure D'Angelo likes the idea of bringing in Luke.
See, but
he's a great shooter who passes. And if Brandon Ingram can come in and be an elite defender, I mean, we're talking about Klay. Is you put him on any other team, and he's the best two guard on that team, the best player on that team.
See, but with Klay, I mean, he's the second best shooter in the NBA. I don't see Brandon Ingram being a top shooter. I see him being a top scorer. I'm just saying he could be
the same thing to the Lakers that Klay is to Golden State.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
He needs to work on his defense quite a bit to get to that point. But it would give them a very nice setup. I think D'Angelo Russell would absolutely love the idea of this crazy Luke Walton offense that the Warriors have been running. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it's got a ton of upside for him. And if you put in, like you said, Ingram next to him, that's a scary 1-2 punch on offense. So I like that. And I think the big question is, like, okay, if they want to go with Chris for the upside or Jaylen Brown for upside, I can see that. But at the same time, it feels like taking a step back, because, like you said, the fit isn't quite there. If you put him at the 3, he's oversized for the 3. Does he have the agility to keep up with everybody else? I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. He's an athletic freak, which is what we've been, oh my God, that's like why you would go. But his game isn't developed yet. And at that point, you're putting him in undeveloped game against pros who are just going to absolutely punish you for that. So,
but if we're talking,
might not be the best setup.
The thing I just think of, if we're going to talk about undeveloped games, then why the hell isn't Buddy Hield the number 1 pick? Because he's the senior coming out.
Because it's a mix of
that in the NBA, it's not like the NFL or where you're getting this guy and it's like, okay, we don't have to work too much with him. He's ready to step in. Some of these players come out 18, 19. Yep. You have to develop them. And the one thing I also think of is for the Lakers, you got to think where you're playing. You're playing in LA. If you want to take a stab on a guy like Chris, who to me, the one thing that I kind of look out and jumps out to me is how raw offensively he is and how much work you're going to need. If you bring him into an LA fan base, is that town, is that city going to want a project? Or are they going to want a guy where it's like, he can help us contribute this year, and then next year he makes his big step?
Let me throw this question out there. If the Lakers, let's say 76ers take Ben Simmons, which we think they'll do, and the Lakers say that we're not taking Brandon Ingram, what prospect would you take to put on the Lakers if you're the Lakers at number 2? And this is, I'm saying Brandon Ingram because I think we would all say if Ben Simmons is off the board, we're taking Brandon Ingram no matter what. Let's say the Lakers do not want to take Brandon Ingram. Something about him is throwing them off. What prospect would you say this is a great fit for the Lakers? This guy's going to develop into a star, and this guy will help them win possible championships or at least make them a playoff threat down the line. What prospect would you throw out there for the Lakers?
Honest answer, there's no fantastic fit. You'd have to go all the way down to a Buddy Hield.
I'd say Buddy or
playing Jamal. Yeah,
I'd say Buddy or Jamal.
You want a 2-guard in there because honestly, they've got a lot of hope down low with Randall. Then you're not gonna go for a center at this point because that's a huge reach. There's so much talent between them.
You're not gonna even take a Sabonis who's at 9 on Chad Fords.
Exactly. Even playing Sabonis as an undersized 5, which is a definite option in today's NBA.
We saw him play in the 5, but that was college.
And that's a good option. But again, there's so much talent up top. But okay, if you're gonna put your marbles on having Randall at the 4 and Russell at the 1 or the 2, then your option is, okay, so we need a great 3. Well, we've looked at this and we've talked about the bust potential of Jaylen Brown and putting a Marquise Chris in there who has that unpolished game. There's no perfect fit at that point.
Well, and the thing is, if there's no perfect fit, let's say Ingram is not the guy and you're like, we're not going to take him. But then it's like, well, Brown and Chris don't really fit in. One option we haven't talked about, and we don't have to go super in depth, I'm just throwing it out there. What if they trade the pick or shop the pick because there's no one there that they want to say, hey, this is a guy we feel confident in?
Real quick, I don't think Brown does not fit in there because, you need a 3. He's an athletic, 3 there.
I'm just saying if you're not confident to pull the trigger on that guy.
Right. Yeah.
It's just the concerns flying around him in our group, not necessarily among everyone, but it's that thought that, hey, maybe somebody wants to come up and get Brandon Ingram. Maybe they'll offer you something worth it.
The Celtics?
Who knows?
But then...
Been floating that out there for how many weeks?